Welcome to week 2 of Bible Studies for Life, the spring of 2025, continuing in the Gospel of John today. So glad you're watching. Really appreciate you doing that. Hey, if you haven't already, would you subscribe? Hit the little subscribe button, hit thumbs up. Be sure and like. If you've got a question, a comment, put that in there. Tell us where you're watching from. And be sure and share the video with somebody else. All right, I'd appreciate it if you'll do that. If you want to support our ministry, you can go to give.exposedtochrist.com and support the teaching and mission work that we're doing. Okay, we're going to be in John chapter 4, the second sign of Jesus here. We'll see that as we get into John chapter 4. So let's look at this passage. He went again to Cana of Galilee, where he had turned the water into wine. There was a certain royal official whose son was ill at Capernaum. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea into Galilee, he went to him and pleaded with him to come down and heal his son, since he was about to die. Okay, so Cana's where we were last week, right? The first miracle that Jesus did, that we had that first sign there in Cana, okay? And that's where he turned the water into wine. So remember that one, right? Now look, there is a royal official, certain royal official whose son is ill at Capernaum, okay? This is a good ways away, a couple of days walk. Remember, they're walking. They're not driving. They're walking. So it's a couple of days away. Capernaum's right on the Sea of Galilee. Cana is to the west. No, I don't know. Let's say halfway maybe between Galilee and the Mediterranean. So when he says down, it's actually go east, but it's come down. You go down the hill, down into where, because it's a lower elevation to Capernaum, right? So this man hears that Jesus is back in the area of Galilee. Cana's in the region of Galilee. And he hears he's there, so he goes to him. So you think he hears what's going on, and he makes the trip. He walks a couple of days to get to Cana, to find Jesus, to talk to him, to plead with him. Come down and heal my son. He is about to die. This royal official, I'll go back to this, royal official. We don't know exactly what that means. It reminds us a little bit of the Roman centurion that asked for help, but we don't know if he's Roman or if he's Jewish. I mean, he could be a Jewish leader, but it seems more likely that he's not, that he's probably Roman, that he is a man of means, a man who maybe has tried everything else. We see this in a couple of stories, right, where people have tried everything else and nothing else has worked, and now they hear about Jesus, so they go see Jesus. Probably the case, right? He's done everything he could to help his son. He can't. His son is about to die. That seems clear. He's not getting better. He's desperate. He goes to Jesus. He pleads with Jesus, please come and help my son. Come and heal my son. Now, remember how Jesus responded to his mother, right? When she said, you know, they're out of wine. And he says, what do I care? What business is that of mine? You know, look at this. Jesus told him, and look at this, it's important. He talked to him, right? Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe. Well, that seems a little harsh, doesn't it? I mean, that's his response to him, straight up. Unless you see signs and wonders, you won't believe. And it is a little bit of a challenge to him. Are you just coming to see Jesus because you want him to do tricks? You know, are you just coming to see Jesus because, well, hey, maybe Jesus can help, nobody else can, you know, we'll give it a shot? Or are you coming because there's something there that you need, you want, you recognize a longing, right? And look what he says. Sir, the official says, come down before my boy dies. You're my only hope. I mean, this is it. If you don't come, he's going to die. And Jesus' response back to him is really interesting. Go, Jesus told him, your son will live. He says, you go. Jesus just says, your son's going to live. He doesn't go. He's in a whole nother town, another area. It's a 2-day walk. You go home. Your son's going to be okay. And I love this. This is great, right? The man believed what Jesus said to him and departed. Look, if we want to pull a verse out of this passage to kind of grab hold of, there's one we might want to pull, right? Believe what Jesus says. He believed him. Jesus said, you go, your son's going to live. And he says, all right. So he goes home. I don't know, but look, we need that, don't we? That trust. The Lord said it. Okay, I'm just going to trust the Lord. While he was still going down, that's he's on his way back down off the hills, right out of the hills to Capernaum, his servants met him saying that his boy was alive. He asked them at what time he got better. Yesterday at 1 in the afternoon, the fever left him, they answered, and the father realized this was the very hour at which Jesus has told him, your son will live. At the very hour, about 1 in the afternoon on yesterday, right? So he himself believed, this is interesting, along with his whole household. Now, this was also the second sign, number 2, Jesus performed after he came from Judea to Galilee. Okay, so he's headed back and he gets this news. Your son is okay. When did this happen? It was about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Well, that was exactly when I was talking to Jesus. This connection is made, right? It's clear that that was not just coincidence, right? So we have to think about what's happened here. Okay, it took him 2 days to get there, right? So he leaves when his son is deathly ill, 2 days just to get there. It's going to take him 2 days to get back, so he's got 4 days, and maybe if you figure a day in between, possibly 5 days that he's going to be away. And his thought is, it's likely that when I get back, he'll be dead. When he left his son, it was likely in his mind, if something doesn't happen, this will be the last time I see my son alive. But he's desperate, so he leaves and he goes to find Jesus. Maybe Jesus can help. And on the way home, so it's been 3 or 4 days, depending on how we want to figure the time there, he meets up with his servants who have come to see him, right? They meet him on the road and they tell him, your son is well. They've been traveling for a day, so they went to go find him, to go see him, right? Let him know everything's okay. He's on his way back. Jesus said everything would be okay, and sure enough, everything is. Your son is alive. He's alive. And so he believed. Okay, now what's the difference? From here, the man believed what Jesus said, and here, so he believed. I think what we see there is a difference in the quality of that belief, in maybe the substance of that belief. He believed what Jesus said because I've got no choice. What else? If Jesus comes with me, I mean, he wants him to come, but it's likely that by the time we get there, the boy will be dead anyway. But maybe, right? But Jesus says he's going to live, so okay. So he goes home. But now he believes. I think at this point he believes not just that maybe Jesus can do something, but that in fact Jesus did something from another town without having to show up. Now, did he have this full understanding? No, he did not have that. But he believed enough in all that he knew to believe in. When we get saved, we don't have full understanding of what it means to walk with Christ. When you get saved, nobody knows what it means. It's kind of, I always say this, when you got married, if you're married, when you got married, you kind of thought you knew what it meant to be married, but really you didn't, right? And if you've been married any time at all, my wife and I are we'll celebrate our 36th year later this year, okay? There's no way that we knew in year 1 what it would be like to go through 35, 36 years, right? Totally. Well, look, this is your walk with God. You just believe in what you know. That's how it starts. This is what I know, so I believe and I trust and I'm going with it. And that's this guy, that's been his path, right? Back here, he just believed what he knew. And then here now his belief has changed, it has grown, it has deepened. His faith now is understanding, and his whole household. He led his whole family because he knew, look what happened. This is the guy. This is that Messiah they're talking about. Did he know what all that would mean? No, he didn't know what that would mean. I mean, the disciples that are with Jesus don't know what it means, right? This man didn't, but he knew enough to trust all that he knew. This is God's call to you. Just trust what you know. Now keep learning more and keep seeking more and keep diving into his word to understand more, but trust what you know now. Just trust what you know now, and the Lord will do great things, right? Okay, hope that's helped. It's a great passage. It's a simple story. It's kind of a short story, but it's one that I think we need to be aware of. The other thing, of course, I kind of mentioned it, but we didn't say it straight out. Likely this guy was not a Jew. So here the second sign happens for a Gentile family. There's some significance to that in there. Okay, thanks. Hey, glad you watched. I appreciate it. Be sure and subscribe, like, comment, share with somebody else. All right, we'll see you next week.